Mr. Duford, $50 a month. If I take this out at 67 and I do the math, I'm going to spend more on this policy by the time I hit 77. Why would I want to take a plan out like that? Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dave Duford. Maybe you don't recognize me with my old glasses here at davidduford.com, where I help insurance agents like you become top producers. So as you could tell from the opening of this video, the purpose and reason I'm putting this together is to help you combat perhaps one of the most stupidest objections, at least in the insurance world, which is the calculator objection. So let me first define what the calculator objection is if you didn't quite understand what I was doing in the beginning. So the calculator objection is when typically you're selling life insurance products and you have a rather seemingly intelligent prospect, or at least he thinks he is, and he pulls out the old calculator, takes your monthly premium, and starts doing the math. And he discovers that if he lives past a certain point, he'll pay more into the policy than it's worth. And by gosh, well, that's just enough reason, and stupid enough, not to buy an insurance policy. So how do you handle an objection like that? I'm going to give you kind of two different perspectives on this. First of all, I think the calculator objection is just a dumb stall. It's a stall for a tire-kicking person, okay? It may be something that isn't in, it may come from somebody that's not totally in belief that your product is really suitable for them. So you may have a prospect who's not really qualified. And when I teach life insurance sales or any insurance sales, we spend the first half of the sales call, within the first 15, 20 minutes, pre-qualifying our client. Meaning, we want to know what their needs are, what they want out of their insurance, why it's important to them, what they're looking to accomplish. And many times when somebody pulls out the calculator objection, it's because they're thinking logically, all right? Numbers, right? It's legitimately, they're calculating. It's a numbers concern. And what they're saying to you is that logic is still the problem in the way of the emotion. Because here's the thing. Life insurance, why do people why buy life insurance, guys? Think about it. One word, love. People buy life insurance because they love a family member, a kid, a spouse, a grandkid, and they do not absolutely want to burden their lives with something that is the person that we're talking to, their responsibility to cover. And it's an emotional purchase decision. Of course, it's bolstered and buttressed by logic, but what happens when somebody does the calculator objection, it just means to me that we're dealing with somebody that ultimately doesn't get it. They're thinking and they haven't had that pivot or that shift that we can sometimes influence, but many times we can't, which is that window of opportunity that says, wow, I am mortal. I'm not going to be here forever. And man, I don't want to burden people that I love. And so when I hear somebody say that, I'm going to show you the objection in a minute, but I just want you to understand the mentality that I believe is behind it. It's just, they're basically saying this isn't worth it. And I don't really think this is a ripoff, so their emotional urgency is just not up to that point. And I think there's only a level or an extent we can massage the urgency, but ultimately it comes down to the client. So I wonder at some point if this person is really even a prospect. So how do I deal with that, with this thought going through my head? Because immediately I'm thinking, oh, it's the calculator objection. I'm already kind of negative on it. So here's how I deal with it to kind of clarify in my mind. And I give them an ultimatum because I find that, I didn't catch something. This person's probably not qualified. But I'm going to give them an ultimatum. I'm going to tell them how it is and shoot them straight. And then they're going to tell me if they want to proceed or if we're packing up and we're done. So here's how I do it. I say, look, Mr. Jones, you're absolutely 100% right. If you take this plan out and you have the luxury of living a long life past the policy date, you will pay more into it than you have in coverage. That's absolutely 100% right. There's no way around to explain it any other way. But here's the other thing you got to consider. What if you don't? Okay? What if you die before that? And isn't this the whole reason we buy life insurance? Right? Because we don't know what's going to happen. Do you know when you're going to die, Mr. Jones? No. Well, neither do I. And if you're worried that at any point, whether now or 10 years or 20 years from down the line, that you're going to end up in a position where you need money to bury you, then this plan is right for you. If you don't think that you need this, and the idea of paying more into this just doesn't sit well with you, and you could really pay for this elsewhere, let's just close shop now and call it a day. So that's my proposition to you. If you need this, yes, but it's still a good choice anyway, because if you don't do anything, the problem's still there. But if you do have other means of doing this and you feel totally confident in it, let's just leave this be. I'll shake your hand and we'll be done. What say you? So it's bold to present it like this, but it's true. Because by them objecting to the number, it doesn't change the problem, right? There's the old saying, I think it's, the problem is the problem. The premium isn't the problem. You not having coverage is the problem. And if you don't pay the premium's the solution, right? You pay the premium, it's a problem solved. But you don't pay it, you still got a problem. So it's kind of like that. But I've gotten to the point in my career where I used to do I tried to reason with these people. Oh, yeah, that's right. You can pay more into it. But let's go back and look at this again and stuff. But I realized a lot of people are just smoke screening you. And you need to draw the line in the sand. Because, again, you as somebody in the position of a salesperson think when you first start in this business that your job is to change hearts and minds. You really don't do that. What you do is you capture the attention of somebody in a state of change. And by your presentation, charisma, and connection with the client, you influence that change in your direction. You attract them to you. And you do that by basically confirming the nagging thoughts and concerns they already have in their mind. It's very rare that you find a salesperson that plants those nagging thoughts in their minds, on the first call at least, and then still closes them where they weren't even thinking that way or even had a predisposition that way from the beginning. This is advanced sales stuff that I think is not spoken about enough. In this first call sale, we're dealing with what we've got in front of us. And there's only so much we can do to influence behavior the way we want to, because if you go too far in influencing behavior in an aggressive way, in a confrontational way, and you push it beyond this level of comfort and change of heart that a person's having, you've got 9 months of chargeback risk that a person may call and cancel, right? So there's a little subtlety here. And I've determined in my career that I just want this truth. I'm going to lay it out flat and be direct in an honest fashion. People respect that when you shoot them straight and tell them this is how it's going to be and there's no other way around it, or it's not. And I'm not here to tell you that this is, that you're wrong. I'm just telling you this is the way it is. Now, what do you want to do? Because I'd rather get on with it and be a little terse and to the point and convert them to a client, and maybe if in minority of situations, convert them to my deal, make them a client, or just be done with it and not get in an argument with them. I'm not interested in arguing. I'm interested in telling them this is the way it is or not. I'm going to be the adult in the room here and not complain about stuff because you've waited to 70 years old or 65 and you haven't bought life insurance. It's your fault, basically. So I don't say it like that. Maybe I should. That probably closed a few more. But I'm just interested in getting out of there to find a real prospect, right? Because, and like I said, it's a minority of the time. I think the calculator objection sometimes slips through in my sales presentation. Not a lot. Because I get rid of these people to begin with. Because if you're objecting over the calculator objection and you earnestly have a problem with that, it's because you don't really need the insurance. Or you don't feel you need it, or you don't want it. It's not on your vision. It's not on your radar. And so, and it only can be on your radar through a series of life events in your life. So when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, okay, here's your option. Take it or leave it. And you'll get conviction out of it or you won't. And again, I just find that very rare do people actually buy when they've got that. And so hopefully that helps. It's a weird objection. And you got to put people in their place and call it out and lay out the ultimatum, because you're the professional in the room. You are there to help them if they want to be helped. You can't help someone that won't help themselves, right? That's true in life. It's true in sales. And you can only do so much. And if you've done a good job explaining the product, telling them why it's superior to the alternatives, letting them to decide that it's superior, and they come up with this, well, they're not telling you something else, or they're just not convinced, and you've done what you can. You need to find a real prospect. Hopefully that helps. My name is David Duford at davidduford.com. If you haven't checked out what I have to offer, go to my website, recruit agents into final expense, annuity sales, Medicare supplements, and mortgage protection. I also, if you don't want to do recruiting with me, I've got an Inner Circle program where you can get awesome training on a weekly basis as well as learn the sales and marketing systems that I just spoke about. I'm doing a training this week actually on developing your own insurance website that develops organic leads for you. Stuff you can't find necessarily on the YouTube channel, you can find there as well. I also have a seminar marketing mastery program where I teach you how to do presentations and seminars so you can develop high quality leads at virtually no cost. And of course, the books behind me you can buy, you can find on my website as well. Please leave a comment below if you have got questions, like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe. Dave Duford here, logging out. We'll see you next time. Bye.